What's going on, folks? This video you're about to watch is actually from PAX East back in May. The audio had gotten corrupted, so I had to do some workarounds to finally get stuff together. And rather than not release it at all, I figured I'd release it now as sort of a promo for Elderwood Academy because they are going to be at GenCon. So a lot of the stuff that you're going to see in the video coming up here is prototype stuff that they were testing out. And GenCon was supposed to be the time frame where we're going to see how that ended up. So I thought we could release this early as sort of a little promo and kind of lead into stuff. So, you can see what's in this video and then actually go to the booth at GenCon and see what ended up being actually produced. And then obviously give them your feedback from what you saw in this video versus what you might actually see at the con.
What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and I'm at a booth that you've seen countless times over what seems like the past 7 to 8 years with our good friend Quentin here from Elderwood Academy. We've got, for the first time in like 2 years, cool new stuff to show you. So some of these are prototypes that are kind of in the what should we do phase. Some of these are almost fully rolled out. A lot of them are available at shows specifically. So if you see one of the things we talk about here and you're like, I haven't seen that on the website, or I'm wondering where that is, coming to a con where Elderwood is probably your best bet.
Yeah, GenCon next. So.
All right, so GenCon, we'll be there again, hopefully with more things to show you. But why don't we talk about what we have here to kind of showcase the difference. And we'll kind of put them up to the camera and stuff too, but we've got ourselves a little workspace right here. So what are we talking about first?
Yeah, I think to get started, we'll talk about our hex chests, and also just for, we're interested in feedback, so that's one of the reasons we brought these to the show, is to get people's opinions about hey, love this, wish it had this feature, those kind of things. So always interested in doing what we can to make these things better for everybody. Right. But yeah, let's dig into one of these. So some of these things are going to be kind of technical changes that aren't super exciting. They're super exciting to me because I've been so close to the product that you're you see all these things that you're oh god, I wish we did that a little bit better, those kind of things. And so I'm we're answering a lot of those questions here, but we'll review them anyways, and you guys can tell me how I don't know if I'm nerding out too hard about this. So, but I'm going to walk through kind of what a current hex chest looks like, and then what the kind of revisions for our next generation of these is going to look like. And there's probably one key difference, which is just size. Modern dice have just been getting bigger and bigger, and so we're trying to accommodate that and make sure that our hex chests fit all of your dice sizes, which, God, I say that on camera, but there's so many dice sizes. There's definitely going to be huge ones that just don't work. But anyways, for the majority of what is on the market, the new ones will fit them well. So. Yeah,
if you think back a few years ago, primarily people were dealing with mostly plastic or general kind of more like a Chessex style of set, but we've gotten to the point where bespoke resin and all sorts of unique silicone, all sorts of unique dice materials and die sizes, sharp edge, which is always seems to be a little bit larger as well, have become a lot more present in the space, which are again a slight tier larger than what we're used to, so everything needs to adapt to fit those sizes.
Yeah, which also to say the innovation in the dice space has been really cool to watch, and having a larger die creates a larger canvas to create cool art. Right. And a lot of the new sharp edge dice that we see artisans and companies doing, they're beautiful objects, and it's fun to be adjacent to that and watch everybody develop their own sort of techniques and styles with all the new dice. And so hopefully we're able to help accommodate people who want some storage options. So sure. I guess without further ado, let's kind of go ahead and walk through these guys. So probably very hard to see the differences of these on camera, but
we'll bring it up close.
The one I've got in my right hand here, this is kind of the new generation, and the one I've got in my left hand, this is one of our first edition hex chests. And right off the bat, you can probably see there's a very slight size difference here, and that also comes through. Sorry, I'm switching hands here. That also comes through on the interiors, and so the actual interior pockets are larger in the new version, but then there's a bunch of subtle features too that hopefully create a better usability and longer better function for everybody. But again, these are the things that I nerd out about that I don't know how much people actually care about. But for example, I don't know how well you can see this guy. Let's see if I can show this, but The bottom of the new version here, again in my right hand, this is a thinner bottom and a micro rolling tray, if that's something that's interesting to you. And then most of the other changes are like their quality of life things that we have been upgrading our finishes. We now have like a oil and wax finish that we are applying to these guys. And Ted, we talked about this yesterday a little bit, but like just the feel of the overall box having like a little bit more of a polish overall feel and stuff like that is like, it's a subtlety. I think if you picked one of these up, you would have no idea that it was like different and improved. But we're trying to like make sure that's like that has better overall value for everybody. So we're making little changes like that. So
there's definitely a nicer feel in the hand. It's a lot smoother. Sometimes older hex chests, especially ones that had the engraving, maybe that's like a sensory thing for folks because of how rough the wood could be. Everything was always sanded, smooth, and finished. But this, I don't know. I just wanted to just keep picking this up, and I don't know if we can ASMR.
Ted's trying to
this.
say that he likes smooth wood.
That's true. It's very true. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but this is not an ASMR video, but it's also, it's noticeably different. I'll say that much. You can tell there is, if you were to hold a regular hex chest and one of these new with the new finish, it's a noticeable difference in the smoothness, I would say. So what's the time? So this is prototype, or is this going to be planned to be in production at some point? Because there's one here, and it looks like there's just one. So what are we looking at? I know we've been in the past where there was a dungeon journal for a long time. There's one of these. Is this like a go-ahead, or are you waiting to get more feedback, or?
I guess I would call these like beta versions. Okay. So we're gonna make a bunch of these. It's a nice product. We're gonna bring a bunch to GenCon, and again, like we're interested in feedback. Like we don't want to just make stuff and add it to the environment. Like we want to make stuff that like people love, that will like bring joy to their gaming tables. So we want to hear what people think. If we bring a bunch of these to GenCon and we get a bunch of feedback about changes that we should make, we'd like to integrate that before we actually kind of roll these out. And so that's why we have them here at the show at PAX East, was to like start getting that feedback. But again, like hearing a little bit more from people when they're actually for sale. It's one thing to field someone's opinion. But when somebody's actually interested in like, oh, I want to buy that, also I have an opinion, usually there's more weight behind that. So that's the intention with these guys. And then we actually have probably the more exciting changes. Again, a lot of these changes are sort of like subtle things that, as a person who's been involved in the production process, feels like exciting to me. We actually have like a larger size for the not first time ever, but this is the we've been internally calling these our rupees for maybe obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. But this is a hex chest that this fits 3 sets of dice. And so you can actually fit a full set here, a full set here, and then this space is kind of your flex space for either extra sets, but you can also just like stuff a full set of dice there too. And this is like a brand new shape and size that we're trying out. And we talked a bunch about them kind of yesterday, but this edition that we're looking at right here, again, this is set up for 3 sets of dice. And then we have a second one that this is a slightly different version, and you can see it's got like more of an open space here, and then like, what on earth are these notches over here? And the intent of the notches, and this is gonna be awkward to hold in my hand, but the intent of the notches was to be like a phone stand for you. And there's been a bunch of points, and again, why we're bringing these things here to hear feedback. It's like, I have a naked phone.
Right.
I'm probably like the only person in this building with a naked phone, and but Ted's phone is not going to fit there because he's got a case there. And so trying to figure out how to like how do we integrate this to like multiple thicknesses of phone that still is usable and useful. And so we're comparing these two. Is this a more exciting object, or is this a more exciting object? And trying to figure out like, also, if the phone stand is an exciting object, how do we actually solve the problem so that it's not just useful for me, it's useful for everybody, and also if you have a tablet, like all of those sorts of things. So this is probably the more exciting update to Hex Chest, is that we actually are bringing a larger size to life here, rather than all of the subtle nerdy changes that I get excited about. But, So
I like them a lot. I think they're really cool. I like the design. I like it gives you more space potentially for whatever you might do on the lid, whether that's engraving or art or something like that. There's a lot more opportunity landscape for artwork, whatever might end up happening. But they also fit nicely in your pocket, like a regular, at least in my, like a pair of jeans, I could just slide the whole thing right in there and carry around a couple sets of dice and then my phone in another pocket, and then I'm good to go. So I really like those. I'm excited to see what they look like when they maybe get, hopefully, into full production. But what other stuff do we have that you might want to talk about? I think most of it's just updates to existing products at this point, right?
Yeah, there's like it's again one of those, like I was talking with one of our staff members this morning. We were sort of talking through all these various, like, none of these upgrades are super exciting. They're kind of things where it's like, yeah, it feels like the same product. Like, why is this a thing? But we've been over the last year and a half, and this is one of the reasons why we've been slow to develop new products and actually bring things to market. We've been trying to focus like on the introspection and improving internally, and so we've been updating quality control standards. We've been updating training standards. We've been retraining staff. We've been trying to get better cross training. And then one of the last things that we've been working on, we want to improve all of our products. Partly because the market changed. As we've talked about, like, dice are bigger than they used to be. And so making sure that we are, like, accommodating that. But we've been kind of slowly chipping away at our product line and trying to make some improvements. And it's kind of tedious work. It's really interesting to look back at again, you look at your own thought process from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and be like, what were we thinking when we originally did this? How much have we learned? What should we be changing about this? So this is like one of our Spellbook gaming boxes, and these have been around since 2015 when we originally launched them on Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. And this is like the kind of new updated version. And again, a lot of these things are like, they're changes that, like, I nerd out about. The fit and finish of these boxes is dramatically improved, and that's what we're shooting for. That we want to improve the like initial quality of our products. We want to make sure that for you guys as customers, like, they again bring joy to your table, and they're exciting, they feel how you want them to feel, etc. And so just like simple examples, the cover of this box has been like has overall been like improved. It actually has kind of like a hard cover embedded into the leather now. It's a new thing we started doing with Dungeon Journals. We started been like evaluating how to bring that into some of our other products. And then we've also changed the interior box, and like, it's going to be hard to see this on camera. It's going to be hard to kind of talk about this, but the overall fit and finish of like both the exterior, interior, how the trim is handled. There's like details of like engraving on the inside. And all of those things are like, we're trying to like level those things up, including like what we talked about with like the finishes for our hex chest. We've like done the same thing for our spell books. And so this is also, it's a bigger box.
Right.
This actually, you can fit a half sheet of paper in here, so you can fold your character sheet in half and lay it in here, or tuck it into the nook, which we had some discussions about.
Yeah.
So, but this is like an example. This is the new version of our Spellbook gaming box, and if you looked at them side by side, you would see all of the kind of extra detail and love and care that our staff's putting into these. So, and this one still has a lot of the same features. There's the various configurable foam interiors depending upon like how you like to game, etc. This one's kind of set up for spell cards. You've got 2 full sets of dice. You've got some spaces for miniatures here, and then a little bit of flex space. And then just like, and this is gonna be super awkward, so bear with me, but I'm gonna try to pull this out. Everything everywhere.
Yeah, it's all good.
So same sort of attitude. This is supposed to be. This can serve as a rolling tray for if you'd like. This can be your rolling tray while you're playing. You can pull all your stuff out. Mm-hmm. We've got the metal reflecting pool, which this is supposed to be your dry erase board, so you can keep track of like hit points or any sort of character effects, status effects, stuff like that. And lastly, this is something that we're again expecting to roll out sometime over the next year. But like this is actually magnetic. And you're like, well, why would I want that? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for right now. We're expecting to a thing that, as much as it is nice to the changeable foams, it's a nice way to create variability for people so they can customize this box to how they want to, but also just recognizing that we wanted to offer a nicer option.
Right.
And so we are expecting to roll out modular interiors here. So you can buy a wood insert that you can likely, and again, this is still in process, but likely there's going to be 3 slots effectively that you could fill. And you could just put 1 slot in if you wanted to.
Right.
You could fill all 3 if you'd like to. But that's why we having this be magnetic, so you can actually fully customize your interior with carved wood inserts. And so that's a thing that we are expecting to roll out. And so these current editions of Spellbook, this is our 2025 edition, have these features kind of built in. So, and we're still testing a bunch of stuff. Again, the intent of sharing this stuff is we want to know what we're doing right. We want to know what we're doing wrong, what to change. And so this is an example of, you can kind of see the foil is glinting in the camera. Our Lucy and Adrian back in the shop, they went through for a bunch of the ones at PAX, and they foil pressed a bunch of these interiors just for fun, just to see if people engage with them strongly or whether it was a feature that nobody thought twice about. But we can, that's a feature that if people want, we can customize the interior. We could, this is red leather, we could match the leather color. Of course, it's more expensive for us to do that because we have to, the production process will change a little bit into what we can get ready early and when things need to get customized. So there's some changes like that we're interested in exploring, but again, we don't want to just do it because we can.
Right.
We want to do it because it's something that people actually care about. So we're not raising costs for no reason or anything like that. So, but another example of just again, it's the same product. It's the same fundamental thing. There aren't a whole lot of functional updates, but there's a bunch of quality of life updates that we're trying to make because we want these things to be awesome for you guys. So,
exhibitors. The expo hall is now open.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna get swamped.
Yeah, very quickly here.
I got a couple other odds and ends, and again, these are, so we're talking about the hex chests that are we are going to be rolling out, and these are sort of beta versions that we'll have at GenCon.
Right.
And then these 2025 spellbooks, these are currently live. We are making these right now for people, and so if you're on our website, this is the product that you would currently configure, and you can make your choice of is this a useful feature for you? If not, don't get it. You don't need to add that on, and figuring out what interior you'd like for you, and then if there's notes about stuff that you want to get, have us handle, talk to us. We're, all of these things are, the staff here, we build all this stuff, so when you order from us, we see it, and we're humans on the other end. So.
And again, as we talked about it in the past, but if you're willing to spend a little bit extra, you can customize the kind of pressing on the outside where they can make a custom setup for you, but there's a cost associated with that, as it's not it's not necessarily a one-off, but you've made it, so now if you want to potentially do more of that in the future, if you're looking to maybe do a run for your table or your business or whatever it might be, you can do things like that. So that's an option if you don't love any of the pre-existing ones, but know that that's a premium upcharge, but it's an option to you if that's something that you want.
Yep. So I got 2 last things, and these are very much prototypey, so this is not, we don't have any discrete plans for any of this stuff, but we're here. We'll talk about them if you guys care about them, or again, so many of these changes are subtle quality of life things that having been so close to the products, I know so thoroughly, and I'm excited about them, but I know as the function's not changing, it's not maybe as exciting for everybody else, but I'm going to talk a little bit about our, this is one of our scroll rolling trays. So this is our portable, foldable rolling tray. And this is a product that we currently offer, and this is again, a subtly updated edition just to change some quality of life sort of things. And this is literally, we were talking about this yesterday, but this is a prototype that was made just to find out, does this work?
Right.
Not even let's compare these or anything like that. But we're adjusting the magnet style. We're having a look at our old scrolls. We've got balls in the corners, and we're just having a look at building them without, which kind of creates a cleaner overall look. So let me assemble this real quick. it creates a kind of cleaner overall look. We've removed the lip on the inside to prevent more like cocked dice and stuff like that. And it also, very hard to explain on camera, but it assembles easier.
Yes.
This is and Ted kind of tested that of like just the comparisons of like how easy it is to like actually pull the sides off, but then actually the magnet strength has been improved, and they're like more durable overall, and they're actually this is an easier product to make, and so I'm hoping that with this we can also reduce the cost a little bit and pass that along. You know, again, we're only here because you guys want us to be here, and we want to make sure we're servicing the community.
Sure.
So this is like a very small updates to our scroll, and again, this one doesn't have a bunch of the features. This is made out of the wrong woods. It's just woods that I had around when I was prototyping this, and we didn't foil press this. There's a lot of differences here that would be different if you were shopping for one of these online, but like this is a thing we're exploring, that we're looking at, again, reevaluating what did we design 7 years ago?
Right, sure.
How would we reapproach this? Are there improvements we can make that are either internal improvements for us or actually external improvements that change the quality of life for our customers?
Sure.
So, and then on the same rolling tray setup, this is a little collapsible rolling tray, and this is again very prototypey, but and actually let me grab one of the competitors is the wrong word, but let me grab the progenitor of this, so that we can understand why this exists and what we're looking at. So I guess I should talk about our Dungeon Journal product before we actually talk about the rolling trays for them. So this is our Dungeon Journal product, and Ted just received one, a Nerd Immersion one, which hopefully you guys will get to see. But finally, we've been we talked about it probably 2 years ago. Yep. And then we didn't. Again, we've been working on internal changes, so like a lot of things have been we've been putting out a lot of fires around our shop, and I think it like hung out for like a while, and then we actually started making it last year, and then it got partially made, and then ended up on a shelf, and they were like, what is this, and what should we do with it? And we put two and two together eventually, but so anyways. This is our Dungeon Journal product. So this is it's your D&D notebook, and this is like a little bit of a smaller size. So this is A5 size paper, and just this ring binding. It's a standard A5 6 ring. So like, it's supposed to be set up for flexibility. If you guys want to buy graph paper, there's graph paper on Amazon, other suppliers that will fit this binding, so you guys can really make sure that the interior works for you. But this is a character sheet pack. I don't have this one open, but it's sort of breaks your D&D. This is set up for D&D 5e, and it breaks your character sheet down into kind of what we think is more useful components, but also creates a lot of note space. So for those of you who like to take notes and draw pictures and stuff like that, this is intended to be your notebook for your character sheet. And then the last kind of feature of this guy is that on your spine, this has a built-in dice box. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull the straps off here. This is your dice and miniatures box. And so you can kind of keep your whole D&D kit in one. And to go along with that, we have accessories for these. And so this rolling tray, this flattens out, and you would be able to keep this with your kit. So when you're going to your D&D game, you could have your rolling tray in your notebook with you. And there's a bunch of features like this. This is the rolling tray. We've got a character counter. We got a spell tracker. We actually have a foldable dice tower. It's kind of don't get me started on that. And there's a bunch of stuff for this that you guys can check out if you check out our website. But this rolling tray, this snaps up at the corners, and if I can do this while it's in book. So it snaps at the corners. I'm gonna let you guys kind of imagine what that looks like. And what we're taking a look at is with this guy is basically a replacement for that. And so putting this aside, this is the same edition, but we're adding hard sides to it, and then we're switching from a snap to magnets, and so this will actually kind of like pop together. Kind of see how, and it's again, it's subtle. Does it do the same thing? Yeah, it does do the same thing. Having the rigid sides it creates a better space for rolling. So there is a small quality of life improvement there. Having the magnetic operation instead of the snaps, that also, honestly, it's kind of fun, but it's easier to actually set up the rolling tray. It's easier to like break the rolling tray down. And then it's also, this becomes a thinner piece. Right. So for fitting inside your dungeon journal, it is overall, it's like a better function. And so it's, again, a subtle change that we are exploring to improve the underlying product for like usability. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, so we got a lot of cool stuff coming for GenCon. There's stuff here at the show if you're here at PAX East, but definitely be on the lookout at GenCon for more prototypes, more options to see, to give your feedback on what you'd like to see and tweaks and adjustments you might like. And then again, it's been 8-something years at this point. I'm not going to stop covering Elderwood Academy products. So hopefully as more and more stuff gets innovated, we'll be able to talk more and more about it. And then we get to see the iteration from these kind of prototypes to what the ultimate final product that'll be available to all of you will be out there. So as always, thank you, Quentin, for this. And we'll see you at GenCon, I guess.
That sounds great. All right. See you guys.